I'm Jaclyn Johnson.
And I'm Marina Middleton.
And this is WorkParty, a podcast that's part work and part party. WorkParty celebrates a new generation of women who are redefining the meaning of work on their own terms and having fun while doing it.
In this podcast, we are diving into all the areas of being a working woman: mind, body, and business. No topic is off limit.
Real talk and hot takes. Think of us as your internet work wives. This is WorkParty,
the podcast.
Wait, where's the champagne?
Today on WorkParty, we're talking about the power of building slowly, intentionally, and with purpose. Our guest is April Gargiulo, the founder and CEO of Vintner's Daughter, a cult favorite skincare brand rooted in craftsmanship, performance, and radical quality. April's journey is one of transformation, from making wine in Napa Valley to formulating one of the most iconic serums in the beauty industry. And she did it without chasing trends, cutting corners, or compromising her values. In this episode, we're diving into how she built Vintner's Daughter from a single product into a luxury powerhouse, what it means to lead with integrity, and why less but better is a powerful stance in today's beauty world. So April, welcome to WorkParty.
Thank you so much for being here. That was such an amazing introduction.
Yes,
thank you.
My NorCal sister. So excited to have you. So I actually love this story. So you grew up in a Napa Valley winemaking family,
Yes.
which is a really cool origin story in general. But it's really interesting because you had been around, this amazing craftsmanship, cultivation, obviously agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
How did that influence you to start the Vintner's Daughter?
It was everything. I mean, it's ultimately the kind of philosophical foundation for all of it. I always had I had cystic acne and pigmentation and just everything that comes along as you get older, and was using really expensive skincare. And I thought because it was expensive, it was the best.
Totally.
Skincare is a little bit of like a black box like that. I think fashion, you can understand it, right? You understand the material, you understand the construction. Beauty's really hard. And oftentimes, or at least this is what I was doing, I was sort of gauging whether it was like good or not based off price. And so, I'm at this place in my life where I'm looking at all the ingredients of what I'm using. And it wasn't about me discovering that this wasn't clean or green or what have you. It was really discovering how low quality these were, like how every corner was cut, every shortcut was taken in order to make them. And what was in the bottle was maybe 25 cents. And then every other investment was really about packaging and marketing. And coming from the wine world, where everything you do is about quality, everything you do is about lasting quality. Short and sweet, I wanted to bring that to beauty.
Did you feel like telling that story was really important to the launch of your brand? Like, do you feel like as a consumer, they understand like what they're getting versus what your products are?
Marina, I was not thinking about storytelling.
Yeah.
It was not on my mind. This was, I have to make this product. Like no one else is making products with the intentionality and the focus on quality and craftsmanship and like never compromising. Just didn't exist. And I all I was thinking about was product.
So you create this product, which is essentially like the hero product of everything you've built. How did you start? Were you like, I'm going to create a facial oil? Or like, were you like, I don't know what I'm going to create. I just know I want to use this ingredient.
Yeah. Did you have other things that you created before you landed on that?
Well, I had 3 businesses that I was kind of parallel pathing. And one of the, I think about it now and it's hysterical. Okay, one of them was Skinny Vine, and it was going to be low calorie wine.
Great name.
Yes, but low calorie wine is gross. P.S.
Turns out
it's really gross. And then the other one was, it was going to be this superfoods, a place where you'd go buy superfoods. It was called Mighty Pantry. I still own these URLs if anybody wants them. And the other was Vintner's Daughter. And so I remember this so clearly. I'm sitting around, our kitchen island, and my husband, also an entrepreneur, we were talking about it, and he said, okay, tell me about each one. So I probably talked about Skinny Vine for, 5 minutes, Mighty Pantry for 7 or 8 minutes. And then Vintner's Daughter was like lit up. I was just lit up. And so it was very clearly my absolute focus, my absolute passion. I spent about 3 years in development of active botanical serum, our first product. Wow. So it was, did I know I wanted an oil? I did know I wanted an oil format for sure. We had been in Morocco maybe like 10 or 15 years earlier. And I like to go to apothecaries and those kinds of places when I travel, and always have. And so I'm in this, I mean, I'm calling it an apothecary, but really, I mean, it was a dirt floor. Neither me or the woman there who was making everything spoke each other's language. And I kept kind of showing her the acne on my face, and she kept showing me this oil. And I kept then being like, no, I have acne on my face. You don't, at this point, oil, it was
Your enemy.
your enemy, right? I mean, now I know that is a wrong way to think about it. But anyway, so she gave it to me, and I joke, but this has really happened. I had a cocktail, and that's what it took for me to put oil on my face. Put it on my face, woke up, and it never looked back. And so I really loved oils, and I wanted to create, with Active Botanical Serum, I wanted to create a product almost like a Trojan horse, and use the oil format for me to be able to kind of infuse the nutritional value from 22 different plants into it, so then it could deliver it to your skin.
I mean, your face is flawless. I
Best
cannot stop
advertisement
looking
for your business.
Like,
Oh my
you
God,
walked
you
in
two
and
are
I was
the
like,
most gorgeous.
oh my
Oh,
God.
please. Okay,
No,
well,
I'm serious. Like,
that's
so
very
crazy.
kind of you.
So you launched with just one product, which is obviously such a big deal. Were you intentional about that? And why didn't you launch with other products along with the oil?
I was thinking about what I wanted. This was not a marketing concept. This was not going to be this huge business. This was, I want to make my dream product. You guys are going to laugh. I said, this was my launch. Different era. This was, you guys, this was a different era. This was 14 years ago, different era. I sent an email out of my Hotmail account.
Yes.
To everyone I knew, basically. Shopify didn't exist. My back end was through PayPal, and I swear. And I knew I was doing everything. I was answering every email. I was packing every box. The lab because this isn't something that I can bake on my own or in my kitchen or what have you. There's a lot of ancient wisdom, but there was also a lot of modern technology. So I had to have a lab. No lab wanted to work with me. It takes 3 to 5 weeks to make every bottle of Vintner's Daughter.
What?
That's 66 times slower than industry average. I could not get a lab to work with me. Nobody wanted to. And there was a lab that I knew, well, let me back up. Most skincare is made with synthetics. If it's not synthetic, it's like super processed ingredients that are either synthetic, maybe they're natural. And so for me, I had to get to the point where I wanted to get to the place where I could have the biggest impact on skin. I had to peel back these layers, and to get to the place where I said, okay, like if I'm not going to compromise, if I'm not going to take shortcuts, not cut any corners, I have to start with whole plants. I have to start with the most nutrient dense whole plants and somehow figure out how to infuse them into our formulas. So that's how we created Active, our Phyto Radiance infusion, which is at the heart of every single one of our products. That is what takes us 3 to 5 weeks. No lab, like I said, wanted to work with us, but I knew there was this lab in Northern California who had done it like 30 years previously. And I just begged her and begged her and begged her. And I think the first run we did and she basically, I think, did it to get me off her back.
Yeah.
Pretty,
Love
you
that.
know?
Yeah.
And I think she made 500 bottles. I think she's very happy with how it all turned out for her. And, but yeah, I mean, early days, it was me packing every box. Yeah. I remember, first it was basically just my mom, and then, my aunts, and then my friends. And then slowly it was people I didn't recognize a name from places I had never been to. So I think it's one of those things where, overnight, people think it's this overnight success, but it's not.
No, totally. But I, from the outside, I remember when Vintner's Daughter was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was really the first face oil. I feel like that was like really out there. Cause I remember the same thing. I was like, oil on your face? And it was like the first one. And it was like every magazine publication, I feel like, and celebrities and all that stuff. So it did have this like virality to it, which is awesome. But you mentioned the slowness. And I think that's so interesting because the reality is like everyone wants the quick fix. Everyone wants to cut the corner. Everyone wants the cheapest possible solution on both ends, right? Because you make more money. So it's a less obvious path to take. And since then, you've only launched 2 other products. So tell us about those products and why, your strategy is like sort of slow and methodical.
Sure. I mean, again, so I'm coming from winemaking that is very used to kind of generational businesses. It takes 3 years to make a bottle of wine. And so I'm very comfortable with this kind of generosity of time. And so Active Botanical Serum was launched in 2013. And with Active Botanical Serum, which is an oil format, we're able to deliver oil-soluble nutrients because there's either oil-soluble or water-soluble. Vitamin A is, for instance, an oil-soluble. Vitamin C is water-soluble. And so I knew I was delivering all this beautiful oil-soluble nutrition with serum. Also, serum is moisture. So moisture and hydration are different. Moisture is oil, hydration is water. Water is
Literally
able...
did not know that.
Right.
Literally like,
You would be shocked how many people don't know this. Like, like
so
people who are in the
cool.
industry. So water, so your body's 60% plus water. So any kind of water soluble product you put on is always going to be able to penetrate more deeply. Oil, moisture is meant to form an occlusive layer over your skin to protect that hydration, right? So it's this kind of symbiotic relationship.
Is that why they say put that last or something?
Oil?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay,
And so I mean, no surprise, I kind of did my product introduction backwards. So Active Botanical Serum, your last step, was the first one. And then Active Treatment Essence came 5 years later. It is the perfect complement to serum. It is this extraordinary hydration. It's all the water-soluble nutrients. It's really important to me that products always work. Again, you mentioned it in the intro, like they have to be incredibly multi-beneficial because I don't want to do 10 steps. I want fewer fueled by better. And so with Active Treatment Essence, our community calls it a facial in a bottle. It smells like kombucha. It is fermented. That fermentation allows all those nutrients to be more bioavailable. It also helps barrier support. It's delivering your vitamin C and your hyaluronic and microexfoliation and all of these things. It's 8 products in one, hence the facial in a bottle. And then 5 years later after that, again, just continuing my series of doing things backwards, Active Renewal Cleanser. And so that's our most recent. And again, with cleanser, I didn't care about cleansing. I thought it was like not a real step, whatever. People would ask what should you use. I don't know, use whatever you want. And then I realized how important cleansing is, especially if you're going to use a product like Active Treatment Essence, the $230. Like you want it to be able to like work the best it can. And if you don't have a great cleanser that doesn't set your skin up in this like really perfectly optimized way, then you can't. And then the other side of it again is how do I make it work even more? And so we turn cleansing more into like a treatment step. So and I'm sending you everything. When you use our cleanser, it is, as you move your hands around alongside the botanicals, it's increasing circulation. And the increased circulation helps heal, helps brighten, and aids in collagen production, which is happening long after you wash it off.
I need it all.
Whatever is on your face. I just want to do exactly.
Oh my God,
whatever
I love
you're
you.
doing, I will
First
be
of all,
doing.
have you guys looked in the mirror? You guys are gorgeous.
Seriously, it's so
Please.
interesting. So you had talked like just for a second, you were like, I started looking at ingredients, okay? Or you said I was at the age of when I started looking at ingredients. And like, when do you feel like people start looking at ingredients? And because sometimes like I'm now starting to look and I'm like, okay, I don't want to start wrinkling, so I'm putting extra sunscreen, where before I was putting baby oil when I was laying out in the sun. You know what I mean? Like it was just like everything has shifted where I care about what's going into my body. And I feel like, yeah, when do you think that people are looking into it now? And do you think that people are doing it more often now? They care about what's going into on their skin.
I do. And I think women in particular are hitting that age of being really aware earlier.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. And then, but for me, it was when I was pregnant. That's when I really, and I think that's also a very common refrain.
Yeah.
That you start to really think about, what you're putting on and in your body.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, in the whole clean beauty movement, I feel like all of a sudden I was like, what do you mean not clean? Like, what do you mean it hasn't been clean? And then you're like, oh, perfect. I've been putting literal chemicals on my face.
Well, and plastic.
Plastic.
Yeah,
just microplastics. And it's funny, like when we hung out, we were talking about like different products, whatever. And you were like, well, there are oils in a clear bottle. Like it won't even hold. And I was like, oh, I would never even know that. It's like, because we don't really get educated as consumers on.
Well, that's what I mean. Beauty is like a black box. It's really hard for the average consumer to know. I get asked that question all the time. What's your biggest beauty advice? And I always say, don't buy anything in a clear bottle.
Yeah.
Because
why?
Well, it's the same way you would never buy Cabernet in a clear bottle. Because light degrades what's ever in it. And so it's why you'll see our bottles are in this. It's actually they look black, but they're violet, and it's a technology, a glass technology that does not allow.
So cool.
No, I had no idea.
And I'm also a lunatic, by the way.
No, I love
like
that.
But that's why your products are so good.
Well,
you care.
Yes, thank you. So it's this violet glass that actually only lets a very distinct light spectrum in that actually amplifies the energetic value of what's inside.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And you said when you were pregnant, like when I had Sebastian, my son, when I was 23, I knew nothing. And so a baby. And I remember just like, putting whatever oils on my stomach because I didn't want stretch marks and all this stuff. And then fast forward 100 years later, my family and friends are now starting to have kids. And they're like, oh, I can't use this. I can't use that. I was like, oh God, I used all of that. I didn't know. I didn't know any better.
Out okay.
Yeah, no, he's great. Okay. Yeah, we're both great. But it is like, it's interesting. Just interesting now looking into like truly what is going into your body, whether it's like, it's not just what you eat and drink. It's like the oils and the skincare and all of that stuff.
Yeah. And one of the things I love is that you donate a portion of the proceeds that you get to charity. So tell us a little bit about the story behind that.
Well, you guys are both entrepreneurs, so you'll understand how crazy this is. We give 2% of top line revenue.
Wow.
Exactly.
Marina's hard.
Marina is sweating hard right now. She just
amazing though.
Exactly. So you get how insane that is.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that since day one, and they're incredible charities, organizations that we work with that support women and children around the world.
That's
amazing. I mean, that's such a huge, kind of stand to take. And you talked a lot about like the pricing of stuff. It's like obviously hearing you talk about the products, you're like, oh, I get why that would be a higher price point because of everything that's gone into it.
And I think too, on that point, everything that you've thought through has gone into it, the donation, everything. But sustainability, I feel like in this era is such a buzzword. Like everyone is using it. How did you make it actually the core of your brand early on?
Love this question. And I think that people understand sustainability from an earth standpoint, but it's a people perspective as well that you have to really think about. And for us, it was it's where I come from. It's how I look at things. I'm looking at things from we think about our vineyard as we are tending to it for the next generation and the generation after that. And so that's very much where I come from. And so it was woven into every decision we made from day one. And, eventually we went through the B Corp certification process, and this is how it happened. And I know you two will understand this because I know your vibes and energies. I was working with because all of our contractors and people we work with, I always look for, they need to share our values. And B Corp is sort of an easy way to say, okay, you got it. And I was talking to him about it. And I remember him saying like, well, it's really hard. You probably wouldn't pass on the first time. And of course I was like, oh, okay, challenge. Let's go do this.
Yeah.
And so we passed with flying colors, one of the very highest sort of scores. And so, but with B Corp, which we love, is that before we were doing but we just didn't have like measurements to be able to set towards it and goals. And they give you this framework to be able to do that and to improve every year. So yes, it's a part of everything we do. It's it's woven into everything. And now that we have this like framework, it's really nice too.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you recently announced Understory. Tell us a little bit about what that is.
Understory, I'm not a scent person, so I'm not a traditional scent person. You will notice in all of our products, we do not add scent. I'm extraordinarily proud of this phytoradiance infusion process, the 3 to 5 week process that it creates a very specific scent. And for me, I smell those and I'm like, okay, this is what this is. It's honest. And so a lot of times scent feels dishonest to me, just
You're masking something. Yeah.
You're right. I also think traditional scent is much more about an announcement versus kind of an more intimate moment. I'm always looking for moments of connection. I think skincare can be a moment of connection, just the actual touch. Nature is a moment of connection. So I think something that maybe somebody who's using Vintner's Daughter doesn't actually maybe recognize, but feels is that sense of connection because of the physical touch and the plant matter. We also, I'm diverging, but I think it's all part of it. We also, positive beauty is a really big piece of what we do. And so a lot of times in beauty, there's a lot of gaslighting words, words like fix, implying you are broken, correct, implying you are wrong. There's so many and they're small. I get it. This is not like a bomb just went off outside your house. Like I get it. But over the course of a lifetime, it's these slow drips, right? And you're probably kind of like triggered in a way you don't even realize. And so we don't use any of those words. We don't even use anti-aging. I'm sure I could sell more if we did it, but it's really that connection and that feeling of gratitude and confidence is so important to me as a human, but as a woman, I have 2 little girls. And so I don't want them to experience that in the beauty world, or no, they're going to experience it. Let's just be honest. I want them to be like eyes wide open, right? I want them to be like, oh, you're cute. You just told me I needed to be fixed, but whatever. It's a cute lipstick. I'll buy it. Fine. But I want them to be aware.
Yeah, it's so true.
I think
Words
aware.
matter.
Yeah.
Words matter.
Yeah. I was just going to say like, yeah, being aware, I think, is a massive thing. Even everything you just said, just saying fix or correct or anything. I was like, oh wow, like I'm just not. I'm not.
Marina,
yeah, I'm not thinking.
You're
about
not wrong.
That. Yeah,
you're not broken.
Yeah,
right. Like anti-aging. If you're not aging, you're dead.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I prefer the alternative for you.
Yeah, no, truly same. It's you sound like just such a patient person, and I don't know much about wine. I'm learning it through Jaclyn and going to Napa. Even when you said the
you
bottle,
have to come to the winery.
What you say about like
100%.
The next time you're up, you have to come to the winery.
I would love to, but she said something like you wouldn't buy a cab in Clear Bottle. I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah. When we started our journey, she was like, I love sweet wine. I was like, no, you like fruity wine. I was like, you don't like sweet. There's like no, like you're not drinking.
I was like my first time going out with Jack. I was like, can I have a Sancerre or Sancerre?
Now we've got her on Sancerre now.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that's actually
that's
pretty
great.
good.
No,
But
but
she was like, I like
learned
sweet like Rieslings. I was like, no, you don't. Like I was like, we'll get you a sweet Riesling, and you'll be like, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
It's like you actually like dry white wine. You just think it's sweet because
not too dry. But anyways, I say all of that to say it's like it's so interesting to hear the patience that you have with the products and the evolution of the brand. Like speaking just from a personal place, it's like everything is fast. Like even for Crate and Cultivate, we launch fast. How quickly can we announce events? How quickly? It's like fast, and instant gratification. And our audience is constantly looking for instant gratification. And so hearing you build a brand that is not like that, but also seeing that the world is a bit catching up to this like slow process to creation. So. Yeah. Like what do you feel when you're looking at other brands either go really fast and how do you feel when you see the other brands that are taking their time?
I don't think there are a lot of brands that are taking their
I
time.
don't think so
There's
either.
ones that you hear about. I think you only hear about the ones that are chasing the new, the more, the next, the new, and the more, and the next. And it just keeps, to your point, it keeps speeding up. So what I say, what we think about and what guides us is I'm not playing the game of your next product. That's not it. We're here to make your last product, your forever product, right? Like I want to make the products you marry. And, as a result, we have an incredible retention rate. Like once people find us, women find us, it is like breathes a sigh of relief almost, right? Because she knows we see her, she knows we care for her, and she knows that there's nothing better for her skin. I get asked all the time, what's your demographic? And what I know is I don't have a demographic. We have a psychographic. Yeah, and our psychographic is the most discerning women in the world, just period.
Yeah, which is amazing and so impressive. But it makes sense because you're also such a discerning entrepreneur, like in terms of how you approach the business.
Well, I did forget a brush on this trip. So I don't know how discerning I am.
Listen, it looks amazing.
No, but it is. I love hearing that because a lot of the fear, I guess, from business owners is like, well, what if I lose my consumer? What if I'm not launching fast enough for them? Or like, and my question to you was going to be, well, how do you keep your customers happy? And your answer is like, you just make a really good product that they use forever. Like that's it. Yeah.
Right. Remember, I don't have anybody breathing down my throat because I have to sell in 3 to 5 years. I don't have to maximize revenue in order to sell 3 to 5 years. And I'm really comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So
which is so nice to hear.
It's a different thing.
I know.
Yeah. It's like everyone is just chasing the venture route and this, that. And it's like, I always say, I'm like, you can build a really good business just for yourself and do that. But tell us about Understory.
Well, I'm going to add one more thing to that. I think there's a lot of people who are interested in just the next product. To like, it's sort of, this is kind of it just like just a dial down. What do you call it?
Double down.
Double down on what you were just saying and I'm building a brand.
Yeah.
There's something different in there.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, Understory. So Understory is a scent. And so I was talking before how I'm not like a scent girl. I'll never walk in the door. And winemaking, as you know, you can't have scents that interfere with your appreciation of wine. So I grew up in a house where like you couldn't have a deodorant that was scented, shampoo that was scented, anything that was scented. And so it just was never anything I was introduced to. On the other hand, it was walk by this bay laurel tree in the sunshine and smell it, this night bluing jasmine and smell it. Like there was an appreciation of scent, but just not artificial scent. And one night I'm at a dinner, this was years ago, and I'm seated next to this woman who's a master perfumer. And I'm kind of like, oh, I've got to keep my mouth shut basically because but she starts telling me how disenchanted she is with traditional scent. And she really wanted the challenge of natural. And she loves the idea of how natural is this much more intimate connection with self versus this outward announcement. And she's speaking my language. And so by the end of the night, we decided we were going to do something together. And she's very philosophical in how she approaches scent. And she, at the time I was reading this book called Overstory by Richard Price, which is fantastic if anyone hasn't read it. And it's all about, it weaves together all these different stories, but it sort of culminates in this Northern California redwood forest. And the idea that I said to her was, let's create Understory. And Understory is this liminal space between a forest canopy and the floor. And how would we create that through scent in this very kind of magical way? And so you have these beautiful floral top notes, kind of mossy, wet rock as bottom notes. And so it feels like romantic and modern at the same time. And it's oil format. So you roll it on and while most scent is kind of inert, it just kind of sticks there. This has a evolution.
Big fan of the oil fragrances. I think it's like the next new thing. I love it so much.
Not so on topic, but still on topic. Jaclyn and I went to Singapore and we
made our own perfume.
We made our own perfume.
Oh, did you love it?
It was just like,
it was so hard.
It was so hard.
I know.
It was really hard. And it my mind just didn't understand how these two things.
To understand the top notes, the whatever.
And the
I was
notes,
like, oh,
right.
okay. Like
Jaclyn was so into it.
I was so into it. I still feel like mine was not great. But
We did not speak the whole time. We were just like measuring things and then like testing. I mean, we tested hundreds.
No, there was hundreds
of
it
little
was intense.
things. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what those two mix will come out. And so it's just interesting.
We also thought it was like a fun little activity. It was like so serious.
We
it was
were
like in a
so
full lab. It was
stressed
like, get it together. It was crazy. Okay.
Well, it's a muscle. I mean, it's a muscle you have to learn, right?
Totally. So if you want to experience the power of fewer, better products rooted in purpose and performance, go explore at Vintner's Daughter. From the cult favorite Active Botanical Serum to the new Understory Volume 3 fragrance oil, April and her team are redefining what thoughtful luxury beauty looks like. You can learn more at vintnersdaughter.com and follow along on Instagram at Vintner's Daughter for behind-the-scenes moments, products, drops, and stories from their community. Whether you're a skincare minimalist or a founder building something with intention, April's work is a reminder that slow, steady, and high integrity wins the race. So thank you for being here, April.
Thank you for having me. This has been really fun.
Yay!
so fun.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Work Party. If you like what you heard, follow, leave a review, rate the pod, or slide into our DMs.
Check out the different ways you can create and cultivate on our website, createcultivate.com. From retreats and masterminds to our summits and festival.
We have different experiences to support you through your entrepreneurial journey from launch
to legacy.
Follow us at Create Cultivate on all platforms, and don't forget, work hard.
Party on.
Please note that this episode may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products and services. Individuals on the show may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to in this episode.